My name is Luke. My girlfriend, Catherine, and I met 3 years ago during our freshman year of college. We both go to Stanford, but we're both originally from Ohio. We established a tradition early on. We spend Christmas Eve with my family, and then we drive through the night to her family's house for Christmas Day. My favorite part of the holiday, oddly enough, is that late-night drive. The route is mostly quiet back roads, just fields and the occasional farmhouse. We rarely encounter other cars. It feels like we have the world to ourselves. We always play our favorite music loud during the drive. It's become a shared obsession since we first met. This past Christmas Eve started normally. After a great night with my family, we packed up my car around midnight and hit the road. The snow was falling lightly. What I'm about to share is one of the most unsettling things I have ever experienced. I was driving along when my phone rang, interrupting the music. I glanced down, irritated. It was an unknown number. I ignored it, assuming it was a scam call. A few minutes later, it rang a second time. Again, an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Catherine gave me a confused look. Not 2 minutes later, it rang a third time. I was angry now. I snatched the phone from the console, swiped to answer, and barked, "Hello?" into the speaker. I could tell I startled Catherine. At first, I was met with silence, just faint static. I was about to hang up when a man's voice finally spoke. He said, "Hello, Luke." I was so shocked I almost swerved off the road. I couldn't speak. Before I could respond, the man continued. He then started reciting my personal information, my full name, my address, details about my life that no stranger could possibly know one pre-production. My mind was racing. After he paused, I finally spoke, trying to keep my voice steady. "What do you want?" The voice paused, then said he wasn't here for me. He was here for Catherine. Hearing my girlfriend's name was 100 times more terrifying. I looked at her, and the horrified expression on her face told me she was just as shocked. I blurted out that I didn't know a Catherine, that he must have the wrong number. The man chuckled and said, "She's sitting right next to you." That was too much. I pulled the car over, my hands shaking. I was about to say something when Catherine reached over, grabbed my phone from my lap, and hung up the call. I screamed at her, demanding to know why she did that to a stranger making personal threats. She just looked at me with wide, fearful eyes and said she was scared and that I couldn't blame her for hanging up. I guess that was fair. I desperately tried to call the number back, but it never went through. The rest of the drive was completely silent. I didn't turn the music back on. My mind was spinning. Who was that guy? How did he know so much about us? How did he know where we were? It's been almost a month and I still have no answers. We asked both our families. No one was playing a prank. Catherine swears she is just as clueless as I am. The truly disturbing part is this. Besides our immediate families, absolutely no one on Earth knew we would be on that specific road at that specific time. I've been tense ever since. I can't help but brace myself every time my phone rings. I know he's going to call again. It's just a matter of time. It was a Monday, exactly 1 week before Christmas, when I arrived home from work to find a package on my family's front porch. I was in my final year of high school and had a holiday job, so I usually got home much earlier than my mom and dad. The package was addressed to my dad. It was about the size of a shoebox and had "Handle with care" written on the plain brown wrapping paper. I carefully picked it up and immediately noticed that it felt much heavier than it looked. I figured whatever was inside must have been expensive. I set it down on the kitchen table, trying to guess who it was from. Mom came home a few hours later, and Dad was the last to get home around 6 p.m. We showed him the package as soon as he stepped into the kitchen. After making coffee, Dad took the package up to his office. Mom told him he should wait until Christmas, but he pointed out that nothing on it marked it as a gift. He figured it was something to do with work and wouldn't be particularly exciting. The last thing my mom said was, "Well, if it's edible, at least share some with us." Seconds after my dad left the kitchen, I went to the family room and flopped down on the couch. I was flicking through TV channels when I called out to my mom, asking what time dinner would be ready. I didn't get to finish that sentence. Midway through, we both heard this tremendous bang coming from upstairs. We met each other in the hallway and ran upstairs to see what made that noise. Mom made it to the door of my dad's office first. When she opened it, I didn't see what was inside. I just smelled this burning chemical smell before Mom started to scream. What happened next was a blur. I remember looking into the office and seeing my father, but then immediately slamming the door closed again. Because he wasn't him anymore. It was a complete mess. Pieces of him were everywhere. I knew he was dead. There was no bringing him back. There was so much blood and bits of body that my gut reaction was to just shut the door. My priority was my mom. She was having a complete nervous breakdown. The only thing I could get her to focus on was calling 911. She told the 911 operator what had happened, and that sent her into a spiral again. She wailed and cried and passed the phone to me. It was, without a doubt, the single worst thing I've ever experienced. But that's not just because it was so sudden. It's because, even all these years later, we have no idea who sent that package or why. The only clue I have is how people at his job acted afterward. Dad worked for some import-export company. In the initial aftermath, the company was amazing. They paid for all the funeral costs, made sure the life insurance came through, and even offered to pay for me and my mom to go on vacation to Hawaii. But when it came time for me to ask what Dad actually did for them, they completely shut down and started stonewalling us. They were happy to assist with financial costs, but when it came to finding out any information about his job, it was against company policy. According to the cops, the company only did the bare minimum they were legally required to do, and then their lips were sealed. All they gave us was a vague job title: product acquisition. They had a lot of lawyers who helped them stay within legal guidelines while keeping us and the cops almost completely in the dark. We had no idea who sent that bomb or why they wanted my father dead. The only thing the cops could figure out was that whoever built that bomb and delivered it had been hired as a professional. In other words, my dad was killed by a corporate hitman. They never found the guy who did it, and we never found out who paid to have him killed. Christmas Eve was cold. I was walking through the streets carrying a bag of gifts. The sidewalks were busy, and there were lights and decorations everywhere. I saw a man sitting on the curb near an empty lot. His coat was old and torn. He had a long beard, and he wore a beanie. I assumed he was homeless and needed help. I felt bad for him, so I reached into my wallet and pulled out a $20 bill. I walked over and held it out to him. He looked at me, but his eyes didn't seem thankful. He just stared. I thought maybe he was just surprised, so I leaned down and put the money in his hand. As soon as I did, he stood up very quickly. He was bigger than I expected, and he moved fast. I stepped back, but he grabbed my coat and pushed me to the ground. My back hit the pavement, and I couldn't get up. He started hitting me. His fist came down hard, and I tried to cover my face. My head was spinning, and everything hurt. I could hear people walking by on the sidewalk, but nobody stopped. I couldn't even call for help. After a while, he stopped. He stood over me, breathing heavily. He then bent down, picked up the $20 bill I had tried to give him, and put it in his own pocket. Then he just walked away. I laid there for a long time, too hurt to move. When I finally sat up, my coat was torn and my face was bleeding. I just walked home slowly. Every step hurt. The streets didn't look cheerful anymore. When I got home, I sat by my window and just watched the snow fall. My body hurt, but I felt a lot worse on the inside. I kept thinking about the man and the look on his face. He didn't just seem angry. There was something else there, something I didn't understand. The next morning was Christmas. I opened the gifts I had bought for myself, but it didn't make me happy. All I could think about was that guy. I wondered why he got so angry and why he attacked me. I still can't figure it out.